Hello folks, Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing in Dallas, Texas. Beautiful Dallas, Texas. Gorgeous day, plenty of sun. I want to talk about wheel wells and how to clean them, dress them, whatever you decide you end up doing. Manufacturers today are starting to use a fabric, some type of, I don't know what it is. It almost looks like it's like fabric from like a welcome mat or something like that, or I don't know what it is. It is what it is. It's fabric. It's not the plastic wheel wells anymore. These things can be a little difficult when you want to clean them. Sometimes they don't want to release the dirt and grime that's in them. You got to get in there with your favorite wheel well brush if you've got access to it. Some cars have very low profiles. It's a little tough to get in there. I've actually jacked up the car a little bit to raise the body away from the tire so I can get in there, but you got to be careful doing that. You got to understand a lot of these new cars today, especially like Tesla, the electric cars, if you're jacking a car up, it can send a signal to the computer and make it go haywire on it. It will say that somebody jacked this car up and didn't hit the little button that told it you were jacking it up, and it sets a little alarm or trigger in the computer and it notifies the customer somebody tried to lift the car. So sometimes you got to turn that stuff off. So I'm not recommending everybody do that. You got to decide if it works for you. But in this car, I've got a little bit of access here. I'm going to clean it like I always do. I'm going to spray some type of super degreaser or all-purpose cleaner, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use a little brush to clean off that fabric, release all that dust and dirt, get it looking nice again. This fabric, if I sprayed like a water-based dressing on it, really doesn't do all that much for it. Doesn't seem to help it. It's not that this fabric gets really dull or faded like plastic, but there's a little trick that I do when it comes to dressing or putting something on these wheel wells, because here's the deal. Boy, I say I love it a lot, and here's the deal. I feel like Bob Barker on The Price is Right. But if I have a big truck, I have a customer who has a 2016 Chevy Silverado. The wheel wells are huge, a lot of access. You can see inside of it. It's also got a fabric lining inside of it as well. It's much easier to clean than this, even though this profile is not that low, it's still a little tight. I want to put something on that fabric to protect it or create like a sacrificial barrier so dirt and dust doesn't stick to it. I've talked about Scotch Guard 3M fabric protector. This stuff works well inside these wheel wells that have the fabric lining and not the plastic. If you got a big truck with a lot of it, you can see a lot of it. I want to clean it all up, and then I spray this stuff on it. I get my hand in there, especially with a truck where I got access inside the wheel well, and get in there. I want to be careful with overspray. I don't want overspray getting all over the paint. But if I do get overspray, I address it immediately with a microfiber towel, maybe some detail spray to get it off. But I want to spray some fabric guard on that fabric wheel well. This is going to help in the future. It's not going to make or break anybody's world. You have to decide if this works for you. I like doing it. It's one of the ways that I kind of address that issue or take care of that fabric in the wheel well. I spray some fabric guard on it, so when the customer's driving down the road, maybe it's raining, a little bit of mud gets on it, it wants to release a heck of a lot better than if it's not treated at all. Plus, if you've got fabric guard on it, it will make it easier for you for that dirt to release when you clean it. That's important to me. It might be me that's cleaning this car next time or my customer. So that's a little trick that I do, because those fabric wheel well guards, they're great. I think they're, the manufacturers are doing it so if a little stone kicks up inside there, it deadens the noise. You don't hear it inside the cabin. Also, too, the plastic wheel wells, we've all been dealing with them over the years. They get chalky, they get white, they get beat up, they start to look horrible. So the manufacturers are putting a felt black lining inside these wheel wells to make these areas look good for longer. But the fabric guard seems to work for me. Spray a little bit on there if you can access it. It'll help keep some of that dirt and grime from being able to stick to it. A lot better than if it wasn't treated at all. Just a little secret about fabric guard, how I use this. And you want to call, we're using it on the carpets, we're using it on upholstery. I find other areas of the car to use it on. This works for me. Maybe that works for you. Maybe you appreciate that tip, but that's how I deal with those fabric wheel wells, because I don't know what else to do. Sometimes if you spray a water-based dressing on it, it just kind of runs off it. It doesn't really cling to it. It doesn't make it pop. That's not what that stuff's going to do to a fabric wheel well. but this Scotch Guard will work wonders if you know how to use it and you apply it appropriately and correctly inside these wheel wells. It will help in the future with cleaning it. I appreciate it, guys. A little video about how I deal with those fabric wheel wells. You decide. I'd be interested to have some comments down below. How do you guys deal with that? How do you address it? I'm always open to new ideas. This one's working for me. Hopefully it will work for you. Until next time, be safe.